Hello and welcome back to another edition of HG Thunder Talk. I am Brendan Rooker along with my co-host Aaron Wagner, and today we are discussing the Milwaukee Brewers. We're going to talk about some stuff, hopefully including the upcoming season. It's going to be an interesting one, probably our first season in a long time without Prince Fielder manning first base. We'll get into what we feel things are going to be like in Milwaukee. But first, Aaron, let's start with the story that has rocked the entire Wisconsin sports nation since it broke a little while ago. It's Ryan Braun. What do you think? Is he going to be playing for us? Well, he will be playing for us, but is he going to be playing the first 50 games next year? Is he guilty? If he's convicted, or if he gets his suspension, is he still guilty in your eyes? Or what are your feelings on Ryan Braun?
Well, first I was shocked. I'll believe him. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. What I think is going to happen is, I don't think it's performance enhancing. I think it is something. I think he'll get cleared of performance-enhancing drugs, but he won't get cleared of having to serve that 50-game suspension. It's as unfair as it sounds. People are going to still suspect Braun, even if it comes out that it was medication for something. That suspicion will always be there. So I truly hate to say it. I'm trying to look at it with an open mind. Not too much being a homer, but I think Braun he'll miss the first 50 games. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I agree with you. I think he's innocent too. But I agree with you. The fact that nobody's ever overturned this, at least at the major league level, is big. I think it's unfortunate. I don't think Braun's a cheater, but like you said, I think he'll still get caught. It's sad. It really is. And what I'm more upset about is I feel Ryan Braun is a Hall of Fame caliber player, and you know how some stuff like this can definitely sway the ballots vote on and if you actually get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, there are a lot of guys. I think Barry Bonds is a main guy, which, for the record, I think Bonds doesn't deserve to be anywhere near the Hall of Fame. But guys like that who, you get any link whatsoever with steroids, and it hurts you a lot. So that's what I feel like 10, 15, 20 years from now.
I think he's young. He's young though. So I mean, if he goes on and he continues to play at this level, never gets any more suspicion, whatever.
I still think it hurts him. I still think that it's linked to his name. It's that tag you can't take off his name.
Yeah, but
okay,
let's say he's got 12, 10. Let's say 10 more years left playing.
Mm-hmm.
He puts up the same numbers. Let's say he's an advocate for not performance-enhancing drug, which he has been.
Yeah.
And it's been proven that no way it was medication.
Mm-hmm.
It was medication. It was not even, he was not taking it for performance-enhancing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I think you give it 10 years time, people will be like, yeah, maybe there's some suspicion, but you cannot compare him to Barry Bonds.
If you can prove it without a doubt, that it's medication and not steroids or not performance enhancing in any way, then yeah, I agree with you.
Right. So if he's taking medication
if there's any question at all, I think it keeps his name off the ballot.
But
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong. If that's the case, I hope I'm wrong, because I think he is probably one of the top 2 or 3 players to ever play with the Brewers. I mean, Robin Yount's probably still undoubtedly number 1 at this point in time.
Right.
But I just don't know. I feel like the way baseball is there's so much backlash to the steroid era, even though we're not in it anymore. But just the link to steroids dooms you. It hurts you a lot. So I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I think that it's going to be
let's say, son, if he comes out and they're able to prove that without a doubt it was medication,
then you're right. But can they do it without a doubt so that the majority?
What doubt do you need? If the test and doctors come back saying, you know what, that medication, yes, it triggers that result.
Mm-hmm.
It should be noted.
But then why is he getting suspended for 50 games? Just because it was an illegal substance?
Because it was a legal substance. Even if he did not take it knowingly, players are still responsible for what they put in. Mm-hmm. Should he have checked it out, had the Brewers? Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
That might look a little fishy. But at the same time, if it's medication for a serious illness, you're going to penalize the guy because he drew a red flag on a positive test. And if he goes on and put the rest of them, it's not like he's hitting 50, 60. If Ryan Braun was on performance-enhancing steroid drugs, you kidding me? You kidding me?
Yeah.
No, he'd hit 50, 60, no question.
Right. Right.
He's not on performance enhancing drugs.
Right.
No.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, just with the sport he plays, there's so much suspicion. I think it'll hurt him. I do, unless they can prove without a doubt. If they prove without, I agree totally with you. We should probably move on though.
Well, I'll make one more quick thing.
Okay.
Even Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Steroids.
He's not gonna be a Hall of Famer.
You don't think so?
No.
I bet you
No.
time will pass.
He's linked to the steroids. He can be. Okay, if we're gonna, I mean, I know it's not as extreme as Barry Bonds, and I get that. But Barry Bonds, if he wasn't on steroids, if he wouldn't have the records in the first place. But if steroids wasn't an asterisk next to his name, he'd be one of the first ballot Hall of Famers out there. I mean, he has a home run record. He has arguably the most prestigious batting record in all of baseball. Arguably, you can make a lot of arguments, but the point is he will never see the Hall of Fame ever because of that. And Rodriguez, in my mind, is also linked. Maybe not quite as high, but he's linked. There's no way. I don't care what he does in his career. I don't think there's a chance that Alex Rodriguez gets in the Hall of Fame.
I think there's a chance. I think the major difference between Bonds, Sosa, McGuire, Palmeiro, those guys, once their careers were done, that's mainly when the steroid suspicion began. Here, A-Rod's played how many more years after steroids? Braun would play after it.
But when did he do the most of his damage as a player? I would argue either before or during his.
I would argue he was really good with the Mariners, really good with the Rangers, and a couple good years in the Yankees. I mean, he's fallen off, but
you don't know
that's
how
for
much.
age.
But you don't know how much of that was steroid induced.
And you don't. In the same time, too, as unfair as it is, you don't know how many times he did take it.
Yeah, true.
Maybe it was a one time.
I'm guessing not, though. But
yeah, stuff. Yeah, that's the one thing I have.
One
thing I think these guys have going for them is that they will have played years after. I'm not saying A-Rod should. I'm just saying
I just don't think he will.
Possibly could. I think if Braun puts up another solid 10 years, I think he'll be fine. Yeah.
For the record, I'd like to say that I hope he gets in the Hall of Fame. I'm just trying to think of this as a what would I do if I didn't have a personal interest in the guy, And I don't know if I would have to be a Hall of Famer because I don't know if people would think he'd be clean or not. But that's either.
Look at his number, retired, statue outside Miller Park.
Hopefully, I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Along with Braun, there are a couple other members of the team that are going to form the roster that's going to try to win a World Series next year, or at least try to win the division again, or do something productive. So, Aaron, let's look at the units that the Brewers have for next season. We're looking at starting pitchers. We probably got Giovanni as at least what I'm going to label the ace. Greinke's kind of ace number 2. Markham's probably your 3. I don't think he's pitched well enough, especially with that playoff run, to be considered an ace anymore.
Right.
But he's pretty close to getting that back if he can redeem himself. Then you got Narveson and Wolf. And then Willie Peralta is a guy that probably will start the year in AAA, and if he does get called up, he'll probably be a bullpen guy. However, Peralta's definitely a starter that could crack it if something goes down, something like that. Where do you think the Brewers' starting rotation compares to some of the other starting rotations in this league?
I'd say they're better in the middle of the pack, but not at the top. I don't know if they're top 10. I'm trying to think of some. You got San Francisco has a good one. Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Even Atlanta has a good one.
Yeah. Atlanta's got talent galore.
You just look around. Even Dodgers have good ace. Decent pitchers surrounding Kershaw. I think they have good enough pitchers, I believe, to win the division and make a run in the playoffs.
I think their lefties hold them back, and you need lefties in a rotation. So I'm not saying get rid of the lefties, but you look at it. I like Gallardo. I think is the next big thing. At least in Milwaukee, he's going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball in a few years. Maybe not Cy Young Award quality, even though I think he has a shot, but still good. But to be honest with you, I just don't. Narveson doesn't thrill me. I think he's a guy that you could do worse, but you could definitely do better. I think Wolf is a guy that I don't like him in pressure situations. I feel like those two hold him back. Problem is because they're lefties, it's really hard to go out there and replace them. There's a good lefty's hard to come by. That's why obviously the Brewers drafted Jed Bradley in the first round this year, because you're hoping you can get a lefty that could be a stud, But it's hard to come by, and that's why Peralta's not just a guy that you can throw into that rotation because you don't want 4 righties and a lefty. I don't think that would.
Yeah, but at the same time, are you going to be? What's more important, having 2 lefties that are okay? Or personally, I don't care if they're left-handed, right-handed.
So you could go with a 5 righty rotation.
If they have a good enough
You think
rotation.
so? Yeah.
If Peralta's a better pitcher than Wolf and Narveson,
Mhm.
I wouldn't. If let's say Wolf and Narveson have to go on the DL for 15, 30 days.
In that case, yeah, I'd put him up.
And he comes up.
I don't know. I think if you have too many righties, it's just one of those quirks of baseball. I just don't think you mess with it.
Right.
I guess I could see 4 and 1. I guess that's better.
Okay.
If you put maybe does Narveson or Wolf become your 3rd starter, so you can 2-1-2,
I don't.
or is it just what do you do?
I'm not a big guy on throwing lefties
Mhm.
or righties. I think if you're a good enough pitcher,
Go out there.
pitch. It's a. We looked last year. Yeah, it was nice to have Wolf and Narveson, but come playoff time,
Yeah,
no.
Narveson was in your bullpen, and Wolf was
Yeah, exactly.
ineffective at best. Actually, did win 1 game. Give him credit for that.
Right, but
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I just don't think they'll ever do it in their baseballs. I think you need.
well, it's nice to have lefties, but you're not gonna compromise talent
Mhm.
just to say I'm gonna throw a lefty there to mess with their minds or shake them up.
Mhm.
No, I mean if this is extreme, but if you would add Matt Cain,
Mhm.
you wouldn't have Matt Cain because you want to have 2 lefties. No, I'm not comparing some of the.
No, I hear what you mean. I know what you mean. The only thing is Peralta. You think Peralta's got the potential to be a Matt Cain type player?
I don't know if he does, but I think he has potential to be just as good, if not better, than Narveson and Wolf this year.
This year, even?
Possibly.
Really?
You look
This
at
year?
A couple years ago, David Price. I mean, granted, he was a top
First
pick,
overall pick, yeah.
but he came up at the end of the month, September. He made the
Playoff
playoff run.
and
Yeah.
pitched well. All right. Well, it's an interesting thing. We only have a few minutes to go here, so let's just flip over to position players in general. Let's talk about defense. Let's talk about batting. What do you think offensively? What do you think the Brewers are going to do offensively this year? Does Prince hurt them?
No, I think offensively, the only thing we can hope is Braun doesn't serve the 50-game suspension. But Ramirez, very good replacement for Prince. I don't think he'll skip a
dollar-wise,
beat.
I think he did a really.
I don't think
good
he'll skip a
value.
beat. I mean, he's a little older. Had a bad year before last year, but I think you might not skip. I think they'll be a very similar team to last year, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think higher average, maybe less home runs, a few less RBIs, but I think he'll get on base more. Well, average-wise, I mean, Prince walks like very few others.
Yeah.
So on base percentage, maybe not. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that'll be good. I think a big thing that not many people are really looking at, maybe even aware of right now, is the Japanese player that they're working out today. I think you even said.
Yeah.
Aoki, I think is his name. The guy's a 2 or 3 time batting champ in Japan. So I mean, I think he's probably can hit the ball. I'm not gonna say he's gonna hit 350 here, but if he hits 280, great. He plays center field. I mean, Nigel Morgan did a good job there last year. I don't know if I think Nigel's going to have an encore performance myself.
Me neither.
Gomez is a defensive specialist. That's about
I
it.
think Gomez was showing good signs at the end of last year. I think he might surprise some folks this year.
No.
I'm holding out.
Yeah. Well, it's good. He needs somebody in his corner.
Exactly.
I just like to hear him talk in the interviews because his voice is higher than most females. So it's an interesting conversation. Yeah, I don't know. I think what do you think? We're wrapping up here in a little bit. We got a little bit of time.
A little over a minute.
But give me a record. Give me a wins loss. Give me a division champion, wild card. What do you think? What do you think about the Brewers this year?
I think they can win the division.
Think so?
Quite honest.
Repeat.
And they have enough solid players that they could make a run in the playoffs.
Mhm.
I mean, people September 1st, they think the Cardinals were.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's a little bit more extreme, but I think they have enough talent to make it push towards the playoffs again.
Okay.
What about you?
I say they win 87 games this year. I'll throw a number out there. I think they can be a game or 2 short of the division.
Who's going to win the division?
Honestly, I think Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati makes some adjustments, and I think they're going to get back to where they were last year. So, but hey, I don't know. Anything can happen, I guess.
That's true.
That's all the time we have for right now. For Brandon Rooker and Aaron Wagner. You guys have a great time. Have a good day.